Hey guys, this is Ludwig here. First, let me correct some stuff from last video's analysis. Unfortunately, Shino was bugged in the trial, and she actually had 13 hits, while I got 12. So I actually did pull her, and then she seems really OP. I used her for a 14S run in my last video. And in the upcoming GRE, her usage will be very interesting because if you look at Ratsound's calculator, her damage per minute, which is a okay measure of how a unit does in GRE, is really high, and then she's like matching the non-element characters against the non-element boss. Anyways, back to the thing. So we have another bait banner ahead of us. I'm personally really excited for something else, however, and it's the weapon banner that's attached to it. We're getting 2 wind swords this time, and no matter what 4-star you pull, it's going to be a wind sword, 100%. So if you're looking to get an R5 right now, it's definitely the time to scout for one. If you're lucky, you could get a wind sword within 1200 MD, around that. And on average, I think it should take 1600 MD to get an R5. If you have 2k MD, that should be a very safe amount to get an R5. Beware, however, it is very likely that we're going to get weapon power creep for the next banner, or soon. So I'm sure that I have been saying this for forever, but Bamco has yet to act on this business opportunity, and then, so for me, for example, I haven't really pulled for weapons in the last half year, and then I never went to above step 2. And then the only exception is once I pulled for an R5 weapon, but if I didn't want to, I could have just skipped that. Anyways, no matter what, an R5 would be pretty good, even if the weapon power creep comes up. So it is highly recommended to whale for these weapons. Alright, now for the banner itself, and as a heads up, the crit damage buff does almost nothing. Keep that in mind for later, and I'll explain that later. Right now, let's just look at the units first. So we do have a wind banner, and then I'm mainly comparing these units to Anniversary Leafa since she's also wind, and then element rankings came back. Anni Leafa, well, 2018 Anni Leafa was regarded as one of the worst 6 stars due to her really long animation, and then it's also kind of weird since it's going back and forth. I'm sure that's just asking to get hit. Alright, so let's look at the actual animations. So for Alice, it looks like she can't engage from a distance away, and then her accessory does have a sort of a Y-axis range. If you look at the head-to-head comparison with Leafa, however, her damage is quite low, and the buff does not make up for that. It does barely anything to her damage. One merit, however, is that Alice does have a decently long acceleration gap, so if you do like 6-star into 5-star, she does something. You'll see no noticeable excel. Besides that, overall, I think she is pretty disappointing. First of all, her damage it's like 3 tiers below Leafa's damage, and then I think her accessory is actually, Alice's accessory is actually slower than Leafa's, and then I guess not much to say for Alice then. Alright, now let's switch to Eugeo, and then hopefully he gives us something better. Alright, so first of all, his animation is pretty fast. It's noticeably faster than Alice's. And, well, just looking at the damage, that is actually not that lower compared to Alice. So just look at the damage itself, it looks like Eugeo's a lot better than Alice already. So if you look at the real-time, in-game time SS3, it is about at least 0.1 seconds faster than the rest of the wind units. And that's actually really important now, since every 0.1 second matters now in ranking. Don't let that distract you from the fact, however, that his damage is pretty low compared to Anniversary Leafa's. Alright, so let's just look at the head-to-head comparison now. Alright, so the main thing that's holding these units back is their damage, and then, well, obviously it is a bait banner after all, so just don't pull too hard on it. If you really want to pull the rate up, I recommend Eugeo's rate up, and then, yeah, so strategy for these kind of like bait RC scouts, you want to see if you get 6 RC in your first scout. If not, you can just, it's best to just skip the banner and not waste your MD on this bait banner. Also, there's likely a guild ranking event banner that's coming up next, and then you want to save some MD for that if you're in a really competitive guild. Alright, so the damage difference is too huge to compare. Universal Leafa is still, I think she's still a tier above these units no matter what. So back to the crit buff stuff, and then, so crit damage buff, I tested it before. I thought single target crit damage buff was going to be stronger than the party crit buff, but it seems like they're the same, and then obviously party crit is better than single target ones. So your crit damage goes from 150% of your normal damage to 160% with that buff, and then if you have crit weapons, it's 160% to 170%. So that's only a 67% buff in damage. And that's also based on the assumption that you have 100% crit, and of course, you're not going to have 100% crit all the time. So this buff is one of the weakest buffs that you will ever have, and then it's used in GRE just because we have non-elements anyways that have this buff. And as a reference, attack buff or zone buff, they give like 10 to 13% more damage. That's almost twice as strong as crit damage buff. So we're still waiting on that banner to happen. Right now, I think it's recommended to just skip this banner, and then, or if you really want to pull, just pull it only once or twice, or pull the Eugeo rate up only. Yeah, that's my recommendation for this banner. Alright, so hopefully you learned something today, and if you like my video, please leave a like and subscribe. I would very appreciate that. And I'll be replying in comments as well. Feel free to ask any questions. Also, you can find me on Reddit as well. Alright, see you next time.